What with the pregnancy?
That was a joke.
Every story needs to
That
have
was
an impreg story.
Oh my
That
god.
was a fucking joke, but everyone took it seriously.
My bad.
Oh,
then.
okay.
My bad.
Everyone thought that I was actually going to make him pregnant.
There's gonna be like.
That actually comes
I
up in the
don't-
questions. That actually comes up in the questions.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's read through these. I'll do the one with the images last. Okay, who smells the worst? I actually don't know. Like they all smell normal when they wash themselves, and then smell bad when they're like going through it or they're like at
Pheromone
war.
waxing.
I don't know, man. So everyone smells bad when they're deployed, and everyone smells normal when they're not deployed. And everyone smells bad when they're depressed and not showering, and everyone smells normal when they're not depressed and they're showering. I can't imagine the prosthetics smell great because they're like brass because they don't have very good metal because they're not super industrialized right away. So it would have that gross metallic smell, but other than that, just normal. Next question from Aiden. Yeah, the Steven Universe influence on the government. The most interesting thing, definitely the hopelessness and the conformity. Just the idea of being forced to just sit and work and be nothing except for your job, and the kind of death of identity that comes with that, and the way that that's actually happened to people in real life, and a lot of us can relate to it to some extent. It was definitely that feeling of having to like sit and stifle yourself when you could be doing other things, but you're doing work that doesn't even result in anything. It's just work for the sake of work, for the sake of keeping you in line, and how that messes with personhood and such. And same with like bioessentialism and people thinking that like, oh, you were born as XYZ, that means that you can never change it, whether or not you want to, or if your internal sense of self disagrees. Next question is good. These characters, including lab-grown people, they have different cultures from various Soviet republics and ethnicities. How does that work under the conglomerate? What kind of communities form under this bioessential feudalism? They aren't allowed to build real interconnected community, but they so like they obviously do have real thoughts and opinions and relationships and friendships, but they don't conceive of it that way, and they don't understand that that's what's happening. They think it doesn't count, and they've been led to believe it doesn't count, so they don't think about it that much. It's mostly just the people that they're forced to work with, who they speak to, or the people who were colonized more recently, like the cloud people. They have really like, I don't know, it's like American traditionalism. They have nuclear families, they have religion. So even if they're grown in labs, they have these like family structures that they're put into. And that is an interpersonal relationship, but because it's in service of the government, they think that it's not like individual. So surface level things like that. Sorry if you've said this, I might be confused. But was Dot the only one on his planet? Yeah, he was the last one. They like killed everybody else. He was just the last guy there. Which is kind of cartoonish that only one guy survived, but I can be silly sometimes. And yes, it was a different planet than the one they end up working on. They just pulled over to get something to eat because they didn't have enough rations. What else? What else? Yeah, okay, the next ones are images, which I have in my camera roll. Give me a minute here. In regards to the overseer being asked if she ever wishes things went differently, she says that basically no, because if the past was different, it wouldn't guarantee the outcome that they fought really hard to achieve, even though there was a lot of suffering involved. And she looks off to the corner of the page. Slay. And then there's this one. How different is the overseer from the original cat seat? So there's like a stupid drawing that isn't meant to be taken super seriously, but the whole Cat's overseer thing is meant to represent how people have to kill parts of themselves to be able to survive under oppressive economic systems. Like anyone who's felt like they had to cut off parts of themselves or drown out their passions when they went to work or when they went to school, it's like that. So Is your customer service personality still you? Kind of. Who knows? A little bit. Not really. But imagine if you could never stop doing that because the world is relying on you to keep it up. I would kill myself.
I would
I
also
love how
kill
real your
myself.
guys are.
Sorry, what did the one non-suicidal person say? I didn't quite catch that.
I love how real your guys are.
Thank you.
Yeah, your
But yeah.
characters are so real. I love them.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, the overseer and Katsu's like kind of thing is that like Azure really wants to end her own life, but Katsu's the opposite and she would do anything to survive, but ends up like not being able to preserve the identity that she fights so hard to have in the first place because of that. Because in doing anything to survive, she like has to become something else. Does Elise still hate being put in charge? Yes. Yeah. She's like competent, but it stresses her out and she doesn't like it. And Katsu kind of doesn't give a shit. It keeps putting her in charge every time she leaves. All right, another question. Does anything interesting happen to the other members of Department 3 post-communist takeover besides Doc getting pregnant? And he's not very happy to receive that question. Other than him, Alib gets hit with a beam during one of Azure's hurricanes and has to have her legs replaced, and that causes some tension. The rest of the department kind of loses faith in their leadership a little bit. So they have to rebuild trust after the whole thing with Azure being prioritized over all of their lives. Yeah, that goes hard. Is that all my questions? No, there's more. Oh, why is your hair green? That's just what their species has. They just have green hair.
Just greening out.
They're all greening out. They all have those fucking catnip cigars to get through their job. What else? Azure, run away with me instead. Let's elope. No more Catsy. You're safe with me now.